Welcome to the Love Yourself Healthy podcast. I am Melanie Lillis. I'm a mind, body, eating coach, a nutritional therapist, and I have my Bachelor of Physical and Health Education. Throughout this podcast, we are going to be diving into the realm of eating psychology, body image, self-love, and how to create a healthy and happy mindset. I cannot wait to share my knowledge with you in hope that it will positively influence your life. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful week. I have had a really good last few days. I have got some really, really, really exciting things that I want to share with you guys, and I'll be sharing them with you in the next podcasts to come. But I want to start off by quickly mentioning that if you listen to my podcast, I think it was about 2 or 3 podcasts ago, I interviewed Amber McKenzie from Breaking Up with Yo-Yo Dieting. I was also interviewed by her. So if you go into your podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, and you search Breaking Up with Yo-Yo Dieting, if you go to episode 99, you can hear my interview with her, which is really exciting because I dive deep into my story and how I kind of got here, you know, where I am today and all of the self-love practices and healing and recovery things that I had to do to get to the position that I'm in now. I think it's a pretty interesting podcast. So let me know what you think. Go to Breaking Up with Yo-Yo Dieting, listen to episode 99, leave a review, tag me in it at BetXBrave. I'd be so appreciative. Anyway, this podcast is going to be short and sweet. I have got some really amazing podcasts coming up for you guys, which I'm really excited to share about. But I just wanted to jump on here and just share literally what was going on in my mind, because I've had quite a lot of people message me and just say literally, Mel, I don't know how to love my body. I'm really struggling and all of that. So I just wanted to really jump into body image, give you guys a overall perspective and just try to change your mindset a little bit more. Before I jump in, I want to share my listener review, and it is, "Hi, beautiful. Your podcasts have completely changed my life. I was recently diagnosed with disordered eating on top of my very well managed mental health issue. You have given me so much hope and strength. I would be so interested to learn more about your one-on-one coaching. Also, need to take this opportunity to thank you for everything you do on a daily basis. You're exactly the type of role model this world needs." Thank you so much for that feedback. That means so, so much to me. And you would have realized that in her message, she said that she'd be interested to know about my one-on-one coaching. So if you don't already follow me on my Instagram, then you wouldn't know this, but I am now starting to do one-on-one coaching. So if you are someone out there struggling with body image or self-love or eating challenges, please shoot me through an email. My email address is hello@bearxbrave.com, and just, let me know that you're interested or that you want to just have a little bit more information, and I'll send that through to you. I'm really excited to start working one-on-one with people. If you've been listening to all of my podcasts, you'll know how passionate I am about these topics and how passionate I am about helping people. So send me through an email if you want to know any more details. So body image, it is one of the biggest struggles that I have had my whole kind of young adolescent life. As you would all probably know, I suffered from bulimia and binge eating disorder, and I really, really struggled with accepting, I guess, my body shape, my weight, and how I looked. And I really struggled for a very long time because I just could not see what other people would see. And I was so blind to how my body was. Like, I genuinely thought at one point that I was chubby. And I just don't get now how I could have ever thought that. And statistics show that 99% of women have at least one, "I hate something about my body" moment each and every day. And that can range from a split-second thought to day-long thoughts, and it can spiral into full-blown anxiety attacks about the way their body looks. I've known people who refuse to go to the beach, refuse to be in a bikini. Some refuse to, go to certain places because they're so ashamed of how their body looks. And we all believe that if only my body could look a certain way, then I'm going to be happy and I'm going to fall in love with life and things are going to be good and I'm just going to be this confident and, sexy being. And I am literally a first-hand example to tell you that that is bullshit. When I was at my skinniest, I was the most unhappy I have ever been in my life. And even since I have recovered, I've still had these moments. And I think that is completely natural. I think that is always going to be little things that come up in your head. But I want to share a story about what happened to me the other week. I was looking back at a photo that I had taken in the beach, and I just happened to come across this photo when looking for another photo. And it was when I was living in Byron Bay, and this was only a couple of years ago. So I was living in Byron Bay. I was working at a circus school, which was really fun, by the way, just FYI. and I'd taken this photo when, I was happy with my body in Byron Bay. I didn't have an eating disorder. I was recovered. But I also didn't think that I was in the best shape that I could have been. But it was more so I was like, oh yeah, I'm happy. I can eat whatever I want, I can wear whatever I want. I don't care. I feel fine. But I was always like, oh, but I could be fitter. I could look better. And I still felt, a little self-conscious at times. And because I was a circus coach, I was always in tights and activewear. And, I thought, oh, I could probably lose a bit of weight on my legs. And it was really light-hearted comments that I would always say. But I still didn't see myself in the shape that I was. And fast forward to the other day, to when I saw this photo, I was literally taken back. I remember just being silent for a second and seeing the photo and being like, hang on a second. I specifically remember feeling as though my body wasn't really in that great of shape. Yet, how come when I looked at this photo, not to toot my own horn, but I looked amazing? And then it hit me. We are never satisfied with our bodies. It doesn't matter how skinny you get, how toned you get, how beautiful you look. We always want more. And I hear so many people say, don't get me wrong, I know I look fine, but I know I can look better because I have in the past. And I have been a massive, massive culprit of this. Even if our minds are happy and healthy, we still sometimes do not see what is right in front of us. And it was at this moment that it was like I had an epiphany and I was like, wow, I am never going to waste another moment not loving my body, because one day I'll probably look back at a photo of how I look today and be like, oh, I wish I still looked like that. Doesn't matter what stage of life we're in, for some reason, we just cannot see what's right in front of us because we are so blind and we always want more. So what I want to say about this is that we need to start enjoying every single stage of our body. The good, the bad, and the work in progress. We need to stop wasting our life, spending each and every moment wishing that our body was better, that our thighs were smaller, that we had bigger boobs, that we had a smaller waist. You were born with the shape that you have, and if you don't love it now, you will spend your whole life hating something that has given you life. Is that really how you want to live? I know that it's not how I want to live. And I know that I spent 4 years hating everything about my body. I loathed the way I look. And if you saw photos of me, you would be smacking your head against the wall. But it's the same thing I was saying before. Even when I recovered, even when I was happy and healthy, I was still saying, oh, I could look better. I love my body, but I could look better. And I did love my body, but I still didn't see what was right in front of me. So instead of focusing on how we look, wouldn't you rather be spending your life channeling all of that energy into better things like making memories, creating new friendships, having new experiences, feeling confident? I remember that whenever I would go to the beach, if I was going to the beach by myself, not a problem. As soon as other people would want to go to the beach with me, I got this like anxiety, and sometimes I wouldn't go. And it's like that could have been one of the best days at the beach with friends, having fun, having laughs. But instead, I was like, oh, everyone's going to be judging how I look, when nobody cares. Nobody else cares. The more hatred that we feed our brains, the worse our quality of life is going to be. But you can decide to change how you feel about your body right now. It's a decision. It's a decision to stop the self-sabotage and focus on what your body can do instead of how your body looks, knowing that we always look better than what we think. It's true. We look so much better than what we think because we stare at ourselves. It's like we grab a magnifying glass and we stare at ourselves so closely. Of course, our brain is going to start warping a little bit. We should be embracing life and embracing our body as if we are going to lose it. When you really take that step back and put yourself in someone else's shoes, you realize how silly we must be worrying about a little extra body fat or that we don't have a thigh gap like the Photoshop girls on Instagram. I used to always want a thigh gap. And even when I was at my smallest, I didn't have a thigh gap. It's just not how my body is. Yeah. So we need to realize that we physically cannot become another person. So instead of using all of that energy, wishing we looked like someone else, appreciate exactly how you are right now. I want to share a caption that M. Carey wrote, and I have spoken about her before on my podcast, but if you don't know who I'm talking about, M. Carey is this amazing, amazing, inspirational girl, and she went on a trip to Europe where she decided to go skydiving in Switzerland, and unfortunately her parachute, it didn't open properly, and essentially she free fell to the ground where she broke her L1, her pelvis, and shattered most of her teeth, and she spent like 4 months recovering in hospital, learning how to use a body again that was numb from the waist down. Doctors told her that she was paralyzed and would never walk again. But 4 months later, she took her first steps, and she still actually doesn't have feeling from the waist down. So I don't know how to explain this properly, but there's like 2 nerves or something, one for feeling and one for movement. So she lost feeling from the waist down, but she didn't lose movement. So she had trained her body to use muscle memory to be able to walk again. And she wrote this caption the other week. I've shared something she's wrote about before on a previous podcast, but there was another caption that I read and I was like, wow, this is so super inspiring. I really wanted to share that with everyone. So she posted this video of her in the hospital, and it's where she had regained feeling of one of her legs, but the other leg was still not working. So the video is of her using her working leg to like move around her non-working leg. And she said, lately, I've been feeling overwhelmed with the memory of being paralyzed. It's not something I ever think about, and it's definitely not something I ever talk about. When I do my speeches, I skip from landing on the ground to being able to walk. I don't talk about being paralyzed. I don't talk about the month I spent doing nothing but laying on my back. I don't talk about the 4 months I spent in a wheelchair. I don't talk about the 1.5 years I couldn't walk without crutches. I don't talk about all of these things because I barely remember them. I think I must have blocked them out. Lately, though, I'm remembering more and more. I remember sitting in a wheelchair for the first time and passing out after 5 minutes because my abs weren't strong enough to hold me up. I remember being left alone in the hospital shower and falling off the shower chair. I remember not being able to get back up and having to wait for someone to come in and find me naked on the floor. I remember 2 men coming into my room 3 times every night to roll me over because I couldn't do it myself. I remember having my heart broken and having to ask the guy who just broke up with me to literally pick me up off the floor because I forgot I couldn't walk and fell over when I was trying to leave. 4 months out of a lifetime is not a long time, but 4 months of memories that physically ache to think about, that's a whole lot of memories. I don't have many videos of me being paralyzed. At the time, it wasn't something we ever imagined would want to look back on. It wasn't inspiring. It was pure hell. This video was when one of my legs was still paralyzed and I was trying to work out a way to move it with the other leg. The next video is yesterday. It's of me walking. I don't know how and why I got this lucky. I owe my legs to the world, and that's exactly what I'm going to show them. You'll never guess where I'm taking them next. We so often take for granted all that our body can do for us. And that story from her, every time she posts, it just gives me this humongous sense of gratitude for everything that I am capable of, all that my body does for us. I want you to take a moment and think, were you able to use your legs to walk today? Were you able to sit down and stand up from a chair? Did your heart continue to pump blood for you? Did your lungs continue to breathe for you? Did your brain allow you to talk to other people? Our value has nothing to do with how we look. We need to stop focusing on how our body looks as if it's the most important thing in the entire world. There is no perfect body shape. The more we can see this, the more we can see how truly amazing our bodies are. I want you to spend some time writing down 5 things that you are grateful for that your body does for you each day. Write these down on a piece of paper and say them to yourself every morning before starting your day. For me, I teach sport in primary school and I get to run around with the kids. I play the games with them. If I'm teaching dance at a school, I get to dance around with them. I get to show them moves. I get to teach them skills. And I am so grateful for that. 2 nights a week, I play netball. I'm allowed to run around and I shoot and I pass and I catch the ball. That is amazing. Last week, I went bouldering for the first time and I was really good at it. Not to toot my own horn again, but I was good at it and I loved it and it was invigorating and I was so happy. On my way home, I sing at the top of my lungs and I'm so grateful that I have a voice. So write down 5 things that you are super grateful for. And I would love for you to share these with me. So take a photo of them and tag me on Instagram, BearXBrave. I'll have my Instagram name in the bio or the description, of this podcast if you're not sure how it's spelt. So this is a nice, short and sweet episode, my friends, but I have some really amazing episodes coming. I can't wait to see the 5 things that you are grateful for. Please remember to tag me. If you have any questions or you want to just chat with me, send me a DM or you can email me at hello@bearxbrave.com. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or would love to contact me, please do at hello@bearxbrave.com. Please follow me on Instagram at bearxbrave and please be sure to subscribe to this podcast. See you next week.